Okay, so for the inconvenient something done, some kind of technical troubles that make this a bit delay. But anyway, let us start again. And please say Namo Tassa again to observe my precept.
Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Buddham Sharanam Gacchami.
Saranang Gacchami.
Buddham Sharanam Gacchami.
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Buddham Sharanam Gacchami.
Yampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Yampi Buddham Sharanam Gacchami.
Yampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Yampi Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami.
Yampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Yampi Sangham Sharanam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatyampi Buddham Sharanam Gacchami.
Yampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatyampi Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami.
Yampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatyampi Sangham Sharanam Gacchami.
Anatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Tinnādāna Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Adinādāna Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Āme Sumicchāmi Samadhi.
Kamesu Miccāchāra Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Vāda Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musāvāda Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Tāmire Majjapama Dattana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo
Tassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Suvijano bhavang hoti suvijano parabhavo. Dhamma kamo bhavang hoti dhamma desi parabhavoti. Dear Venerable Ananda, the abbot of Florida Buddhist Vihara, and other monks, and dear devotees and friends. Today, you are here to learn the Dhamma. Dhamma means the teachings of the Buddha, or the other way we can say is a nature. Buddha's teaching is a nature. It's a natural teachings. So today you are here to learn Dhamma because this is very important period of time for us to learn and practice Dhamma. What we call this the Vassana season, the rainy season, is the season that mostly the Buddhist people, the monks, they teach and preach Dhamma, and the lay people, they learn and practice Dhamma. So the both monks and the lay people, they are able to do more and more meritorious karma, kusala karmas, wholesome karmas. Today, this special Dhamma sharing is sponsored by the devout family of Florida Buddhist Vihara, the Lokesh and Shashi Sagam. So those family are the sponsoring family for this special Dhamma sharing. The Dhamma sharing is important because this is the way that we can gain more and more meritorious karma. The Supreme Buddha said, Dhammo have rakkati dhammachari. If we are following the Dhamma will protect us. How we protect from the Dhamma? Because our words, our actions, and our thoughts are already purified because of learning and practicing Dhamma. So we don't misuse our words. We don't say any harsh words. We don't say any malicious words. We don't say any useless words. We don't even lie. So then we don't have any enemies. No one hates us. No one is blaming us. No one is making us troubles. Why? Because our words always sweet words, beautiful words, useful words. It's instead of useless words, we always saying very useful words. So in that way, we are already protected. And also, we don't do any harmful things by our physical body. We don't use our hands and legs to harm others. We don't take any weapons, any sticks. Even we don't even use our hands to hurt someone. Then we are protecting. And even our mind is completely pure. Our mind doesn't have any kind of unwholesome thoughts. We call pure mind, beautiful mind. Then we don't generate any kind of bad thoughts, bad ideas. So then we already protected. So Dhammo have rakkati dhammachari. We are protected because of we are following the Buddha Dhamma, the nature. So we understand the karma, the nature of the karma, the consequences of the karma, the result of the karma. So then we are not do any kind of harmful things, any bad things, unwholesome karmas. And also when we are listening Dhamma, the Supreme Buddha said, Sunata dhareta charata dhammi. When we listening to Dhamma, we need to listen Dhamma very carefully. very mindfully. And we need to absorb the Dhamma, what we learn. We need to practice the Dhamma, what we learn. It is not just here from this year and then just let it go up from the other year. So we are trying to learn what we hear. We try to absorb that into our mind. Then we are able to stay accordance with the Dhamma. So the verse I mentioned, it gives very important message for us. This verse from Sutta Nipata, one of the very famous popular sutra known as Prabhav Sutra. Suvijano bhavang hoti, suvijano parabhavo, Dhammakamo bhavang hoti, Dhammadesi parabhavo. Suvijano bhavang hoti. The prospering man is easily known. The prospering man that we can tell, this man is prospering. He doesn't do any kind of unwholesome activities, unwholesome actions. So he's a prospering man. So easily we can understand, we can see him easily. And also ruining man, also easily we can realize this person is a ruining person. And the prospering man always like righteousness. The one who hates righteousness, is a downfall person, is a ruining. So in order to be a prospering person, the Supreme Buddha said, the person who is observing good karma, good wholesome karmas. There are 10 wholesome karmas. There are 10 wholesome karmas. And there are 10 unwholesome karmas. I can first briefly explain about what and how can the unwholesome karma be. The first one is killing any living beings. Panatipata is a unwholesome karma. That is physical bodily action, physical unwholesome actions. So if you are trying not to take anyone's life, so that way we are having that discipline of not to take anyone's life. And I observe, and also I observe and I refrain from not to take anyone's life. Panatipata Veramani Sikkapada Samadhyam. That's the basic teachings of the Buddha in order to be the right disciple of the Buddha. So the first thing we need to do, of course, that we observe those precepts, and also we go refuge of Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And after that, we try not to hurt, not to kill, not to take anyone's life. And Adinnadana Veramani Sikkapadam Samadhyami. Not to take anything which is not given. I refrain from which is not given. And also, Kamesu Michachara Veramani Sikkapadam Samadhyami, not to do any adulteries. So those three belong to physical body. When those three things, three principles, if you are following all the time, That means we are out of danger. We don't have any enemies. So we are living righteously. Our life is very righteous. Why? Because I have a kindness, compassion of other being. And I have a respect of other being. And I have a respect of other people's belongings. I don't have any greediness and any ambition to take their things, their earning things, what they belong to. And also, not to do any adulteries. So, if the person is following those three principles, those three principles are belong to our bodily actions. So that person is already full protected from his bodily action, and he refrain from all kind of unwholesome bodily actions. And also, there are four verbal actions that we always need to refrain from it. Musavada Veramani and Pisunavacha Veramani, Parusavacha Veramani, Sampappalapa Veramani, Sikkapada Samadhya. Pisunavacha, false speech, mean Musavada. Musavada Veramani, Sikkapada Samadhya, I refrain from lying. So that person is developing of trust each other. So everybody trusts that person. They trust us. Why? Because I always try to refrain not to say any false speech. So he already is protecting his words, not to misuse his words. And slandering speech. Slandering speech means Pisunavacha Veramani. So slandering speech make the society break into the pieces, make the happiness, make the community, make the unity break into pieces. So that is a very bad uh, attitudes. So therefore, we always need to keep the society as a unique society together, and as a community, make them all together and tied together. So some people, they like to say here and there such and such things, and make the society is unhappy. There is no peace, no togetherness. All break up because of the person's misuse his words, saying such and such, and break the community, the togetherness, and also make someone unhappy of saying harsh speech, parusavacha veramani, and also idle chattering is sampappalapa. So if the person always watch of their words, what they are saying, that way he is well protected of his own words, and he is refraining from misusing of the words. So therefore, Buddha said, so we have to protect our body by not to do any kind of unwholesome actions. And we have to watch our words not to say any unwholesome words. And also, thirdly, he said, covetousness, abhijja, ill will, vyapada, and wrong view, miccha ditti. So, covetousness of greed or covetousness of or greed is abhijja. So, we always need to purify our mind not to have any covetousness or abhijja in our mind. And vyapa, the ill will thoughts. So we need to refrain from ill will thoughts. And wrong view, micchaditti. As long as we are following those 10 kusala kamma, means that refraining from those akusala is kusala, then that person is well protected. Well protected. Why? Because he doesn't misuse his physical body. He doesn't misuse his words. He doesn't misuse of his mind. And totally and full protected. Why? Because he is always doing useful things. Instead of hurting someone, he's helping people. He uses his physical body to help and support someone, giving hands and helping people, not to hurt, not to hate. So instead of saying harsh words, malicious words, useless words, even lying, he always saying truth, and they can develop trust each other. And he's saying very beautiful words, pretty words, beautiful words, and that way he can build up. He can build up this his own uh, happiness, his own prosperity, because of he's not misusing his body, words, and the mind. Supreme Buddha said, the mind makes everything, good and bad. Manobubbang gamadamma manosetta manomaya manasache paduttena basativa karotiva. Tatonan dukkhang anveti chakkang va vahato padang. Mind makes, this is forerunner, mind makes everything. Pubbangam. And mind is the greatest. If the mind polluted, manasa che paduttena, if the mind polluted, basativa karotiva, if he says something, or if he does something, tatonang dukkhang anveti, then the dukkha, the suffering, always chasing him. Similar to bullock cart. When the bull is pulling the cart, wheel of the carts are turning behind him. The bull is not happily pulling the cart. Charioteer is beating up, yelling at him, and squeezing his tail and giving a very much hard time to the bull. The bull doesn't have any choice. Even though it is the rocky road, muddy road, uphill, downhill, doesn't matter. The bull has to pull the cart. Similarly, if we do any kind of unwholesome actions by our physical body, verbally or mentally, then we accumulate enormous demerits, akusala kamma. So we don't have a choice. We have to face to the consequences, the karma. There is no way to away from it. And the second verse he mentioned, Manopubbang gama dhamma manosetta manomaya manasache pasannena basatiwa karotiwa tatona sukhang anneti chayava anapayini. Mind is the greatest. Mind makes everything. If the mind is pure, then whatever we say or whatever we do, bodily action or the verbal action, and all are wholesome. Similar to Chaya Vanapayini, the shadow behind us, the shadow doesn't harm us, doesn't feel anything uh, like a bull. It is normally behind us. So similarly, we can be happy of having such good karma. Therefore, in order to observe those things, those good qualities, in order to have a good discipline, Buddha said, very important, uh, the words is mindfulness. Mindfulness. If the mind is empty, if our mind is running here and there, then adventures and defilements can come in through our six sense bases. When the adventures and defilements come into our mind can be polluted. Then what happens? The polluted mind can does all kind of bad things, unwholesome actions. Then he asks us to practice mindfulness. There is a very popular, famous, I think you all know, you all have followed, you all have learned these teachings of the mindfulness. He said, Ekayanoyam bhikkhave maggo sattana visuddhya Soka pariddavanam samatikkamaya dukkha domanassanam attangamaya nyayasa adhigamaya nibbana satchikiriyaya. There are very beautiful paragraph. He mentioned the beginning of the sutra known as Satipatthana Sutra, the four foundations of mindfulness. Satipatthana Sutra. He said, Ekayano ayam bhikkhave maggo sattana visuddhya. Monks, this is the way for purification of beings, sattana visuddhya. Soka pariddavanam samatikkamaya, to overcoming sorrow and lamentation. Dukkha domanasanam attangamaya, to overcoming physical and mental suffering. Nyayasa adhigamaya, to gain wisdom. Nibbanasa satchikiriyaya, to attain nirvana. You see, there are very important goals that he mentioned at the beginning of the sutra. This sutra has very special way of teaching. The goals of the sutra mention the beginning of the sutra. Normally, you will see from the other sutras, in end of the sutra, you will find the solution or the goals. But this particular sutra, it has the beginning of the sutra mention about this, the goals of being mindful, what we get. If we be mindful, this is what we get, what we are going to get. So he said, Kaye kayanupassi viharati, Vedanasu vedananupassi viharati, Chitte chittanupassi viharati, Dhamme dhammanupassi viharati. In order to reach the goals that I mentioned for purification of beings, to overcoming sorrow and lamentation and physical and mental sufferings, to overcoming, gain wisdom to attain nirvana. He said, we need to mindful of our entire body, the top to toe of this body, we have to be mindful. How? This is a long story, long details, but I just make it short in order to connect to what we are talking about mind. So he said, watch our body, bodily contemplation. From top to toe of this body is enough for us to reach the goals that mentioned the beginning of the sutra. Nothing else. Everything within us, from top to toe of this body, they have happiness, sadness, prosperity, lose, gain, all kind of things, top to toe of this body. So therefore, he said, watch your body. Kaya kayanupassī virati. Watch your body. How we can watch our body? Starting with ānāpānasati, and then clear comprehension. And then thirdly is that patikula manasikara. Patikula manasikara means analyzing of your bodily repulsiveness, repulsive part of the body, and analyze of 4 elements, dhatu manasikara, and 9 channel ground. When we die, what will happen? So we need to go through a whole entire bodily parts from breathing until end of the breath. Then there is a death. And not only that, even what will happen to this body? How will this body decompose? How change? So we can imagine what will happen. So in that way, we try to gain mindfulness through entire focusing of entire body. And Vedanānupassī viharati. We can observe of all kind of feelings, happy feelings, sad feeling, neither happy nor sad feelings. So we need to observe all kind of feelings. Samisa, amisa, niramisa, all kind of feelings. There are 9 kind of feelings it's mentioning. And chitte chittanupassī viharati. Look at our mind. Contemplating mind as mind. Dhamme dhammanupassī viharati. Contemplating Dhamma as Dhamma. So this is only about 4 things. But explaining in details, while we are understanding of this whole thing, we can establish mindfulness. That mindfulness helps us to stay away from all kind of unwholesome things, unwholesome actions, unwholesome attitudes. Why? Because if any kind of unwholesome thoughts is arising in our mind, the mindfulness is triggered the right away and is saying such and such things that coming into my mind. So the result can be such and such. So therefore, don't proceed it, don't do it, and stop right away. And the mindfulness is able to stop. If you have heard the beautiful sutra known as Skimsuka Sutra, Samyutta Nikaya, Salayatana Vagga, it mentioned about how 6 sense bases connecting with external six objects, sensory objects, and how our mind get polluted. In Madhupindika Sutra is saying that Chakkum paticca rupecha chakku viññāna tinnam passati sango tinnam passati this eyes connect with the object, and then chakku viññāna, the consciousness arise. Because of consciousness, the feeling arises. Then it proceed to the persons to do any kind of wrongdoing, wrong things. So the mindful person always he knows the result, consequences. So that person always try not to have any kind of idea or thoughts coming into our mind. So therefore, we always need to be mindful, make our mind full, make our mind happy. We can have a happy mind. In Kimsuka Sutra, the Supreme Buddha mentioned that suppose there is a town or city. This city has 6 doors. So each door need to have a guard or guarding person. So who is guarding our 6 sense bases? The mindfulness. So we have to have a guard to our eyes, to our ears, to our mouth, to our body, to our mind, and we are full protected. Why? Because God is there. The city, in the middle of the city has a king. That is consciousness. So, if anything trying to come in to anyone, so the God is well search. This person coming from where? Coming with what? Whether he's a dangerous person or he's an enemy. So the mindful God is there to check thoroughly and reject if the person is danger. That means if anything harmful to consciousness, your happiness, your prosperity, your mindfulness, the God is reject that person. He doesn't let him come into this city. Why? Because he's an enemy. It's just like a country. So the vice officers, they all check the person whether he has enough visa. So why he's coming, where he's coming from. All these questions they ask because they want to protect the country. Similarly, we want to protect our happiness, our prosperity, our good behavior, our good attitudes. So therefore, we don't let our mind pollute. The pollution can happen through 6 sense bases. So we have to protect them. We have to guard the mindful person there in every sense media. Then we are full protected. No one can come in and harm us. So this is very beautiful teachings of what he taught us. We cannot find this teaching from any other uh, books or any other belief. This is very beautiful and very useful, and also this is very practical teachings. You can see the consequences. You can see the results right away. And we have to follow Sila, Samadhi, and Prajna. Sila means morality, Samadhi, concentration, Prajna means wisdom. That is a summary of Eight Noble Paths. So we observe precepts, discipline. Again, discipline means we are not misuse our words, physical body, and the mind. And we try to concentrate. And we try to be wise. So when we are observing precepts, when we have a well-developed discipline, some kind of attitudes can arise anytime. For suppose, if I have an enemy that used to be some times ago, then suddenly I meet him, then again, whatever is already suppressed, the anger with him, it arises. It's called Uttana. Uttana means rising. That already hiding in the mind, subconscious mind, is now is arising. Is popping up, rising. Then what happened? Then he used his words, or saying harsh words, or sometimes trying to fight. But if we have good concentration, good mindfulness, that person always be mindful. No, this is not something I should know, should do. This I need to let go of the attitudes, the thoughts that come to my mind. So therefore, I need to stop right away. The mindfulness triggers at the moment. That person is not going to harm. Why? Because now he became a wise person. That is not wise to do or harm whatever is pop up in the mind. It's already, again, he's trying to suppress or let it go. So that way, we can have a very protected and very beautiful life. So Dhamma Kamo Bhavang Hoti. Dhamma Kamo. We need to understand the Dhamma and live in accordance with the Dhamma. The righteousness. It is very important to live in accordance with the Dhamma. And as I said, then we are well protected. We are protected. So, the one who hates righteousness, one who doesn't like righteousness, is a ruining. It's a ruining. It's a downfall. Why? Because he doesn't follow the righteousness, good things, good habit, good behavior, and he doesn't have any good attitudes. So therefore, he is in danger. He is in danger this life and even life after. Finally, he will be place of deprivation, not in the better place. So we have to understand this karma, the karmic nature. If we understand this karmic nature, we can have a very beautiful life, very prosperous life. So in order to understand this Buddha Dhamma, we have to have a wisdom. That's why Buddha said, this Dhamma is for wise people. This Dhamma is for wise people. You have to have a wisdom to understand this Dhamma. And also, you have to have a saddha, faith, or the better word is confidence. We have to have a confidence towards Buddha Dhamma. Without confidence, we are unable to follow the Buddha Dhamma. So we have to have a confidence. When we have a confidence, we are able to follow the Dhamma. If we don't have a confidence, then we are following the wrong things. We are not following the right things, not righteousness. We are following the wrong things. So we always need to follow right things, good things, and important things. So Dhamma is not limited to very particular book. The Buddha Dhamma is in many books, including to many books. There are so many teachings, 84,000 of teachings, that we can summarize these teachings to Eight Noble Path and Four Noble Truth and so forth. And dependent origination. So all these Dhamma. So in the Madhupindika Sutra, it says that when our mind contact with external world or external object, then if we lack of mindfulness, it becomes pollute and dandadana, sattadana, and so forth. He said the person is very aggressive. He take sticks, weapons. Why? Because his mind is already contaminated from unwholesome things. So this Dhamma is for wise people. So you are lucky that you are wise enough you to understand this Dhamma, to follow this Dhamma. That way, you can have very happy and very peaceful and very success and very prosperous lives. So when we follow Dhamma, we always need to think as a positively, and we need to stay calm, and we need to extend our kindness, compassion. That way we are out of danger. We are out of danger from the society. And also, we are not going to a place of deprivation. So I think it's enough for today Dhamma sharing. And thank you for joining for Dhamma sharing today. And Venerable Ananda and his organizing sharing of Dhamma in order to have a very successful retreat known as Rainy Retreat or Vasana Retreat. And this is the way that you can share meritorious deeds to your loved one your relatives, your departed one, and you can make them happy of sharing Dhamma, teaching Dhamma. And even when you understand Dhamma, that is the great gift, great things that you can gain through. So therefore, I wish you happiness, prosperity, and may your family, friends, relatives always be protected by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. May all the Devas protect you. May no harm, may no problems, may no difficulties come to you. May you always meet with success. Finally, may we all attain ultimate happiness of the Nirvana. Another, can we conclude?
Yes, Honorable Sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let us share these merits to all Devas. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga